So
all right, so we gotta get Raymond pretty soon.
Keep your voice down.
What's the problem?
Alex is sleeping.
He's always sleeping.
But he has been having a little bit of trouble lately. Okay? He didn't want me to tell you this, but you know how he's been campaigning with Santa and they've been, working, burning the candle at both ends. Santa needed Alex because he's not from here. He has his, main place in the North Pole, but him and the elves are staying down here so much that they're staying at Alex's house. They're filling up all the bedrooms. Alex has so many bedrooms, by the way.
He's got a beautiful very big house. Yeah, very big house.
But there's so many elves that they're all sleeping with Alex, too. Like, Alex has that beautiful California king.
Jingle, jangle.
And it's just full of elves, like 16 elves.
That's a lot of elves, but we got campaigning to do, man. We got to make this happen.
And we do have to do the show.
Yeah. I'll wake him up. All right, Alex, get up.
Not now, Mr. Jingle. Go cuddle with someone else.
I will do no such thing. No, hold on a second. I want you up. We got to do some campaign shit. Get up. We got damage control.
Mike, what are you doing in my bed? Again.
So, first of all the elves have left, as you can clearly see. They've up and gone for the day. You're the only one left. You're being unproductive, and we got damage control to do, my man.
Excuse me. Do you think this just happens? I need my beauty sleep, man.
Listen, I saw Legolas in here earlier. I assume that just kind of rubs off on you. So I think that's probably fine.
Well, I mean, I don't know about you. Something rubbed off on me last night. I'm not sure what it was, though. It's a weird night, boys.
Probably was Legolas, to be clear.
Yeah, it probably was.
He's a bit of a perv.
Yeah, that's okay, though. So damage control, what do you mean?
Okay. Adam, get in here. You're with us now.
Hey, Alex, this bedroom is beautiful. I love these. What are these? 14-foot ceilings?
Yes. Ignore the cookie crumbs and elf jizz.
I thought that was tinsel. It's so that's so
the slang
sparkly.
for it. That's the slang.
Oh, geez. Oh, that actually kind of ruins Christmas for me, if I'm being honest.
I just looked at your laptop is open here. There's a lot of certain. Do you know about incognito mode? It's all tinsel and wreath.
Apparently, someone doesn't.
Wreath job.
Keebler Rule 34. I don't understand. This is a lot.
Anyway, do you want to head out to the recreational vehicle so we can do the podcast? And we also need to talk about, obviously, the campaign, which has been rocked seismically by the events of the debate and the ones that followed.
Went great.
The debate went great, but you remember Dickie announced that Schwimmer is his running mate now.
Isn't he that guy who owns that pool downtown? What is it called? Safety Schwim?
No. That's Dave Swimmer. We're talking about Dave Schwimmer. That's very different. Okay. Dave Schwimmer, the guy from Friends. You remember he used to work for us, but then Dickie just dropped the bomb that he's now the running mate. I'm explaining this to you because you're half asleep. I know that you know this already,
right?
But, you kicked his ass in the debate, but since then he's been on fire. I really Schwimmer was clearly a mole the whole time. This is a problem.
We've hired a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of very famous people. I might add.
He doesn't work. He was in There Goes My Hero, the mentoring program that Pastrami started, where you learn life lessons through sandwiches, and unfortunately, that has backfired on us because, we kind of had the lock on testosterone in this town. Mm-hmm. But I saw, when Schwimmer left, I saw him sneaking out of there with a crate of boar's head testosterone, emphasis on the head.
So you're saying that he's trying to break into our testosterone market?
I mean, trying. I was driving down, Mike, the street in Limbrook.
You were driving down Catalpa?
Yes, of course. And I saw in the window of the lawnmower store, the window of that store that used to sell lawnmowers and then went out of business when Limbrook went all succulents and pebbles. Not because there wasn't any water, but because they decided they were too good for it.
As it do.
They went out of business. In that window now is this giant poster, kind of a menacing, like, Kim Jong-un, like, propaganda poster that just says absolutely nothing else, but coming soon, testosterone.
Oh, the son of a bitch.
Shit.
I think Schwimmer sold us out. He stole the testosterone formula, gave it to Tyrone Dickey, and now Tyrone is working our side of the street. Catalpa.
I gotta say, like, listen. This is just another reason why Friends is the worst thing to ever be created in the history of humanity. Like, this is not okay. This is worse. That, like, we were not on a break. We were not on a break.
Well, Schwimmer is getting so jacked now that he's eating original testosterone, and now he's eating testosterone. So he's like double dosing. He's incredibly jacked. He's walking around yelling at people in the street. I saw him walk up to Mrs. Henderson the other day, and he said, we're not on a break, but I'm a break you. And then
poor Mrs. Henderson.
Luckily, people intervened, but it took like 50 men to hold him back. And these are big testosterone men.
Yeah, and all of those people were all in line to get with Mrs. Henderson. As we know, she's the new most popular person in Limburg.
This did occur to me, by the way, that we need to make one thing clear. The Mrs. Henderson that we've run into previously is the mother of Michael Henderson, DDS.
Yes,
who
not
is
the wife.
Married to his wife,
who is now the town
name
harlot.
Is Dorothy.
Dorothy Henderson, yes.
Just to keep that, the Henderson family is very powerful in this town.
They're the Murdochs of Limburg.
The support is crucial.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get their endorsement. I don't think Tyrone's going to get their endorsement after this. I think we've got Michael Henderson DDS. Alex, I believe you've got Dorothy Henderson. You're on top of that, so to speak.
Well, that also might cost us. That might cost us the Michael Henderson vote. Now that I'm thinking about it, if that gets out,
we'll keep it in.
He seems like a defeated man, if I recall.
Yeah,
and
it's fine.
We have, unfortunately, I think we've stood idly by as Mrs. Henderson was hassled by the jokers.
Have we?
But yeah, and then I think we may have hit her with a bus.
We had a weird summer.
I'm glad that, I mean, it's bad, but honestly, the fact that Schwimmer is berating Mrs. Henderson is probably a mark in our favor.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like given the two choices, and there are only two choices now, we've beaten out, the major parties, Green, Libertarian, have been run out of town, run out of the race, and now it's basically neck and neck. It's like 50-50, Alex and Tyrone. Mm-hmm. And I guess the strategy that he's taking is whoever gets the most big boys in the streets, intimidating voters, toppling mailboxes, Look, we're the only place in North America that has a London-style phone booth on not only every corner, but every square of pavement, not sidewalk.
Correct.
We have, per capita, the most London phone booths in the world, and the only ones in North America that were authentically put in the ocean and pushed over here.
Which is what?
From London itself.
I mean, they aren't used now anyway because of, cell phones and stuff. But even back then, there was the whole controversy with that mayor because they were all just fucking rusted. There was that one woman.
Well, yeah, they were incredibly wet.
There was that one woman that tried to call and order a pizza at one of them. But when she picked up the microphone, a shark just jumped out at her. It was really rough.
No, that's right.
The microphone. Oh, right, because they were
the telephone. Yeah.
They were basically PA systems where you would go in there and you would just holler into it.
Exactly. It was a precursor
and you had to
the
be
recreational
careful.
Vehicle.
You had to be careful because some of them were those like record your own music video karaoke booths. Some of them were passport photos, and some of them were announcing your So if you thought you were, going to record your own cover of what's that song, Creed, Arms Wide Open, you want to be careful that you're not getting into the PA system one, because you're out there singing your heart out. Like
nobody wants to know that Creed is your go-to karaoke song.
Long Island's own Scott Stapp.
No. The only person that gets to claim Long Island's own is Billy Joel. We know this.
Yeah.
By law.
Well, and Billy Joel was honestly the biggest champion of those phone booths that this town has ever seen. I believe he was trying to get a thing going where they were sort of like those. You ever see that Domino's commercial with that self-driving thing that's delivering a pizza whilst avoiding the Noid?
No idea what you're talking about, if I'm being completely honest with you.
You don't know the Noid?
This is a deep cut even for me.
It's not. This is a current commercial.
Is it?
Mike, you don't know the Noid.
Maybe 4 years ago.
That's not current.
Maybe.
That's not current. That's last decade.
Basically, he wanted a system where you could get into a phone booth, you would dial a secret number, and then it would drive you to Madison Square Garden. And instead of accessible seating, for people using wheelchairs and their companions, it would just be, that row would be a row of phone booths that would park there, and through Bluetooth technology would sync with the audio on the stage. It would be a totally immersive experience, door to door. And I was a major investor in this.
We know.
But unfortunately, it turned out to be absolutely impossible. The Garden was having none of it. The street people were having none of it. I mean, the people, the Department of Transportation. Yeah, it was a very unpopular idea, and I lost a lot of money on it. What were we talking about?
I don't know why we did a deep dive on the history of these things. We all know this. We all lived through these things.
Well, the important thing to remember about these things, which the town got an excellent deal on them, because you ever hear about that? This is another thing you probably don't know about, because apparently you were born under a rock and have lived under a rock every day of your life and will die under a rock.
Because I don't know the Noid.
Yeah. No, it's not that you don't know the Noid. It's that you don't know that specific commercial from several years ago that they brought the Noid back for.
I didn't know there was a Noid the first time, so I guess I was
Mike,
really out of it.
You are getting me annoyed. Let's just continue.
Hey.
You know how that shipping container full of Garfield alarm clocks fell off of a barge off the coast of France, and now they're all washing up on a beach in France?
Yes, I do know this story, actually. That makes me laugh a lot.
Our phone booths fell off the Titanic.
Why was the Titanic was carrying those phone booths?
Yeah.
There was, now that you mention it, there was a that is actually in real life what Rose was floating on. Rose was floating on a telephone booth that Leo couldn't get on. It was actually the real Leo DiCaprio. He was reincarnated just for the movie.
Leo the first, of course.
Yeah, Leo DiCaprio the first. Still a bad dude, still a predator. Was trying to get with Rose, and that's when she floated away on the telephone booth, and he couldn't get on it because she had to make a call, and she only had enough change for 5 minutes.
So, but basically, all that aside, any progress that we were going to make as a community on the self-driving phone booth system, if Tyrone wins, is completely scrapped. My hope for reviving that with the money that we're making from testosterone. I haven't told you guys about this, but I am working in the lab late each night. Me and Billy are in there. We got a bunch of wheels. A shipping container full of wheels fell off of the Lusitania during World War II, and it washed up here like most things do. So we're just in there. We're working on these things, but not if Tyrone wins the mayoral race. We're fucked. No one's going to want this. He's going to institute martial law.
Yeah, and we can't have Marshall back under the law.
No, Jude's brother? No.
No, all our homies hate Marshall.
Well, I know that Santa, Alex, is feuding with Marshall. I believe they're fighting over Dorothy Henderson. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
Dorothy can't be held down. Are you kidding me? You can't fight over her.
She's a free spirit.
Yeah, you can't hold her down. Come on, get out of here.
I love that Mrs. Claus Mrs.
Yeah, I was gonna
Claus
say, wait, hold
knows
on.
that Santa's down here doing this, right? Santa brought all the elves down here to work on your campaign, but I haven't seen Mrs. Claus. She doesn't. She's never. I haven't seen her in town. Does she know?
You know, I actually haven't seen her either.
Did Mrs. Claus go poly? This is great. I mean, this is
Mrs. Claus.
This has nothing to do with polyamory. We just haven't seen her. She's just probably back at the North Pole. Right?
Alex, your computer's still open. What are your iMessages? Who's Mrs. C?
That is Mrs. Caffaroni from down the street.
Oh, thank goodness! I thought it was Mrs. Claus.
And no, I mean, for your question about the actual like subject of the message, I am like learning to become a gynecologist, which is why we were talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed what drew my eye to it was the eggplants and water droplet emojis, but then, yeah, there's a very detailed, it looks like you copied this from Grey's Anatomy or something, like very detailed gynecological description. Is this
drawn out entirely in emojis?
Is this for her benefit? Did she ask you to, or is this about her?
I don't know the correct answer to get out of this.
Okay, we don't want to pry, but I did notice that you also... Pry? No, it just happens to be... You're airplaying to your 80-inch TV on the wall across from your bed. So, I mean, it's hard not to look. But whoops. I'm also noticing that you are texting with Mrs. Claus, and the amount of uterine descriptions that are in your text with Mrs. Caffaroni... they pale in comparison to, this is one of the longest texts I've ever seen. I mean, it just keeps going. You're describing the fallopian tubes in more detail than I thought was possible. And you're really telling a story with it.
Long text messages, that's why they say I got fast fingers.
I just want to say, listen, to each your own. But so far, we've learned about in the 20 minutes since we've come in here, I've learned about your sexual escapades with the 40-plus elves that were sitting in this room, you and your tinsel, your Mrs. Caffaroni, and you're cheating on her with Mrs. Claus, the wife of your running mate. I'm just saying.
And Dorothy Henderson.
And don't forget about Dorothy Henderson. I'm just saying, you're a politician. You're
playing with fire here.
You're like, this could...
You're about to get Gary Hearted. Do you know that reference, Mike?
Nope. Okay. This could be a one hell of an October surprise in the next coming weeks. I don't know, man.
It'll be a real April surprise.
Yeah.
Do you think we should get out in front of this?
You know what? I think maybe just because of how close the race is right now, I'm gonna say we put this under wraps. I mean,
okay.
I think we have a chance at winning this. We've got like 50% of the vote right now. I am a little worried because when Schwimmer left Pastrami's deli with the case of testosterone, he also had my Rolodex of enemies. I wouldn't say I'm a fan of Nixon, but
okay.
I was at Barnes and Noble, and I was in the self-help section, and they had something called the Nixon method, which was written, of course, by Cynthia Nixon, and it was all about, like, tape all your conversations. Check, already doing that.
We are?
Yeah. And, Wait,
hold on. I thought we were waiting until the Lenovo booted up. What do you mean we've been recording all these
welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. Continue,
Wait,
Adam.
what the fuck? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I asked Alex to start recording as soon as he went to sleep, just in case. Because I knew we were going to have to come over and wake him up.
Guys, that means that we have a live recording
of
Legolas shooting tinsel.
Don't worry, I'm going to edit it. And it's just going to be from when we officially start the show. But let me finish telling you about the Nixon method. Record all your conversations. Check, already doing that. Make lists of your enemies. And get jowl implants, which I'm working on. But, so I had this big list of my enemies. I was putting your enemy, because I don't have that many enemies. I have, like, Smash Mouth and, I honestly can't think of anyone else other than Steve Harwell.
Smash Mouth is a huge one.
Yeah, he remember how Smash Mouth murdered Julius Pringle
Yeah.
12 weeks ago. We're really coming back to all the milestones. So I was pulling like your enemies into it, Alex's enemy. I mean, I had the Flat Earthers by name, Dylan, of course, his wife Dylan Ita. I had like the French, Macron.
Trudeau's kind of neutral, but I'm sure he wouldn't exactly be
He's
upset.
mostly into hockey now. He's starting his own amateur hockey league, I think, in Ottawa.
Which is weird because Ottawa has an NHL team.
He wants to do it his own way, which is no pads, no pants, no problem.
We've made a lot of enemies in 18 weeks, guys.
Yeah. So, but I saw him leaving with my enemies list, and then next thing I know, Tyrone is doing campaign events all over town. He went to Idlewild Pines, the RV park that my nemesis KOA owns, where, remember the scene of the bloody massacre that I conveniently abandoned. And then I saw that he actually was at that Starbucks bathroom that Mike frequents.
Oh, no.
I think he's getting in with the Flat Earthers and the French and all the people that hate me. Alex, I don't think has made any enemies at this point.
Just lovers.
Yeah.
I mean, just...
Until, if we don't edit this... Yeah, he's made a lot of lovers, not so many haters.
And some political opponents, but nothing personnel, kid.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm getting a little worried that Tyrone might be assembling our enemies to take us down in the race. And...
Holy shit. They're forming like a suicide squad?
No, yeah, it is. It's the original... Which one came first? Suicide Squad or The Suicide Squad?
No, the...
Just Suicide Squad.
Thank you. Because
the sequel was the.
Okay, the
Suicide
sequel was
Squad, then the.
Okay, so it's the first one. It's is that Will Smith? Is Will Smith in the first one?
Yeah, but he got kicked out because
because of slap.
He slapped everybody.
They kicked him out of the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I mean he's got a pretty good shot. Like he had good aim. That was his problem.
Oh no, yeah,
too good an aim.
But yeah, I think they're assembling a sort of Suicide Squad, and Will Smith is there. He's turned on us as well, apparently. I guess he's always been our enemy because I sued him for. In one of my favorite details, I sued him for claiming to be able to solve a Rubik's Cube.
That's right.
That's a Baroness. You got to go hear that. That's one of my favorites.
Go to the Baroness Zonas. Wait, why am I talking? This is going to be edited out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Okay, so look, damage control done. We have figured out what we're going to do, which is not acknowledge Alex's numerous affairs. And I don't think we're going to do any proactive measures right now. We're just going to stay the course, keep campaigning, keep canvassing, keep going door to door, handing out free sandwiches.
Good plan.
Go team. Okay, so
should we head to the recreational?
Let's head to Oh, Alex, I love your trellis over here that's coming out of your window. This ivy is beautiful. You mind if we just scurry down this Rameo style?
Why not just use the fire escape?
Or the elevator that's right there.
Or the fire pole through the
water or the water slide.
You have I know Guinness came by and congratulated you for this. The most means of getting downstairs in a single house.
I like getting from the second floor to the first floor a different way every day and then never using them again. So, I mean, you guys can do any of these. I've done them all. I'm going to use the bungee cord because that just got installed.
Okay, I'm going to do the zip line. Mike?
I'm just going to take the stairs.
Oh, be careful. We had to take out the railing to make room for the slip and slide.
Ooh.
The 45-degree slip and slide.
Thanks for the heads up.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Be careful, it's slippery.
All right, well, I'll see you guys in there when we record our breakdown of Season 2, Episode 18 of Everybody Loves Raymond, The Family Bed. We'll be right back after that. Okay, suggestion is violin.
I've been waiting for this concert for like 8 months. We've had these tickets reserved. Al, aren't you excited?
Don't call me Al.
You can call me Al. Hi, Weird
Holy
Al
shit.
Yankovic.
Well, no.
Holy shit.
Holy shit. It's
Phil Collins.
do the Tarzan song.
It's such an interesting... this happens to me all the time. I introduce myself as Weird Al Yankovic, and people immediately know that I'm Phil Collins because I reference a Paul Simon song. Yes, it's me. Hi, yeah. I put on my Weird Al wig, I come out here and I meet the fans. It's just something that I do for fun.
I knew it
Are you
started
okay?
with a P. I knew it started with a P. I just fucked it up. God damn it.
He's just
All
very
right.
excited. He's a big Phil Collins fan.
I'm a big Phil
Hey.
Collins fan.
No, I get it all the time. I appreciate it. I heard you guys saying you bought tickets for this show 8 months ago and you're still standing out here waiting to get in?
Yeah, it doesn't start for another 20 minutes.
I'm really cold or hot, depending on what season it is.
Well, if you didn't buy VIP tickets, you look like two nice guys. I say, take these badges and come with me. Let's go backstage.
Wait, Phil Al Yankovic, you know the violinist?
Yeah, I know it's Zach Perlman.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize that was a relationship. All right, yeah, let's go backstage.
He is actually, if you listen to In the Air Tonight, he is very, very deep in the mix through the entire thing.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, you can really hear it on the surround box set that we're working on, but happen to have an advanced copy right here backstage for you.
Ooh. Thank you, Weird Al Collins.
Hey, and please help yourself to, we've got a ton of veggie trays. Of course, this tour is sponsored by ShopRite, so we've got nothing but veggie trays. It's all carrots and celery, ranch dressing, the very best.
Oh.
And
Is this a commercial for ShopRite then?
not a commercial, a sponsorship.
Oh.
What I did want to ask you guys about, though, full disclosure, I recognized you. I know that you guys are the hosts of Everybody Loves Raymond.
How'd you recognize us? No one knows what we look like.
Yeah, what's this, an audio-only podcast?
My tour bus happened to be rolling through town at the same time as the Winnebago was rolling through town. So I peeked in the window, saw you, committed your faces to memory, and hoped against all hope that you would show up to my concert here at the Lynbrook Christian Men's Center.
You knew that we were going to show up.
I didn't know. I hoped. I can't explain to you how excited I am right now.
To the violinist, I'm very excited. I mean, we're excited to meet you. I'm a huge fan of Weird Al and Phil Collins at the same time. This is fantastic.
And presumably it's Zach Perlman.
And yeah, exactly. But I mean, that's very, very kind of you. If you wanted to support us more, I'm just saying.
I do. I can only give you so many veggie trays. I would love to support you somehow, some other way.
Well,
you know what?
Mike, tell him.
You know what we like a lot more than veggie trays? Cash. And you know how you can give us cash? You can sign up for the Baroness Zonus at postfund.org/donate. You're familiar with the Baroness Zonus since you're such a super fan, right?
I am familiar. I do have to admit, I've heard you guys talk about the Baroness Zonus, but this tour's been so busy. I'm opening for this famous violinist. I'm doing my all bongos set, which is really only good on In the Air Tonight. But I just haven't had time. And isn't it very expensive and you have to lock into a long-term contract?
Yep.
Absolutely. What my friend here is trying to say is absolutely not. You can pay any amount you want, as little as $1 one time, and get lifetime access to the Baronis Zonus. And you have access to an extra episode of Everybody Loves Raymond every single month. You'll have access to all of our past Baronis Zonus episodes. Yeah, like I said, just $1, as little as $1, you get a lifetime of free access.
Well, that sounds absolutely incredible. And can I just say, hold on, Phil Collins songs. That sounds absolutely incredible. That sounds like a real groovy kind of love from the album Buster in 1988. Truly, I mean, I can't stop loving you guys. You are my favorite podcast, and it would be such an honor to go to postfund.org/donate and support you with whatever I want.
Then do it.
I think I will, but first I've got to go out there and do a rendition of Do They Know It's Christmas, where I do all the voices. And then Itzhak comes out at the end and wails on that thing Charlie Daniels style. Oh, Charlie Daniels is here too. Make sure you say hi. They're going to do a duet on Easy Lover, which is one of my songs, but I'll be backstage at that
That's
point.
That's a really big night. Well, listen.
It is a big night for the Limbrook Christian Men's Center, isn't it?
It sure is. Phil, I appreciate you taking the time. I don't know if we'll get a chance to see each other after the show, but just know that till then you'll be in my heart.
Well, let me just say, I'm not going to be calling the law offices of Romano and Romano, because there's no way I'm Su-Su-Dioing you. Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. We're here in the recreational vehicle. We're talking about, I'm Adam. We're talking about that I'm Adam, and that's Alex.
Hi, I'm Cozy.
And that's Mike. Alex is basking in the afterglow of his time with 35 elves in his bed.
We don't need to get into it.
We don't need to talk any more about that, but we are going to talk about Season 2, Episode 18 of Everybody Loves Raymond, which is called The Family Bed. I would like to ask Alex what his overall impression of the episode was, and so I will. Alex, what was your overall impression of the episode?
Well, given with my personal experience, 5 people in a bed seems like nothing at all. The episode itself, not a great one for Ray. There were a couple times that I did actually laugh out loud. There are a couple like one-liners that really did get me. But aside from that, it's a pretty average episode. Another kind of Ray digging his own grave type episode. It felt a little. This was probably one of the first ones that I kind of started feeling the formula a little bit, where Ray kind of just trying to get out of a funk that is caused just by a normal kind of family event. I enjoyed it. Not one I'm gonna remember.
Not a Stone Cold classic for you, Mike.
I weirdly walked away with the distinction in my mind. That was an all right filler episode, and then I had to take a minute and say, there's no overarching plot. This cannot be a filler episode because they're all filler episodes. But it kind of had that thing of like, kind of what Alex was saying. It was fine. It had some good laughs. The kids were very cute, but outside of that, I mean, like, it's like, it was kind of a forgettable episode. That was just kind of my thought on it.
Yeah.
How about you, Adam?
I'm going to agree with the general sentiment that this is not one of the standout classic episodes. It's no Scruples. It's no Italy. It's not one that I would imagine that people think about, or that would be on like the top 10 list of episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond. There are some genuinely funny lines. There is very barely a plot, but I think it's the value in this episode, to say something nice about it, has been rare up to this point that we get a episode about the kids.
True.
Like, there are episodes where they're not in the show at all. The twins don't really factor into this very much, but it's pretty much an episode about Ray, Deborah, and Allie that everyone else comes in and out of.
Adam, I don't even know if this episode's really about Allie. It really just feels like she's a plot device, and it's really about Raymond and Deborah.
Yeah, I think that's probably true. Allie is used as a plot device here because we don't get a very deep exploration of Ray and Deborah's relationship either. What is their conflict? Ray, doesn't want to cave to Allie, and Deborah is like, we should just cave to Allie. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like deeper there. Regardless, even though it's a surface level one, I do like that the kids are at least figuring more prominently in this episode, because we've had a lot of Ray Robert episodes, we've had a lot of Ray Deborah episodes, and we've had a lot of Deborah and Marie episodes. But we, haven't given the kids their own vehicle yet, their own big episode, I feel like. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they did that. Execution wise, it's probably fine, but I agree with this. This is a C+ episode overall, and we'll talk about how Ray himself is. May or may not be C+. I don't know what C+ is. That 6 on a scale of 1 to 10?
No, it's a solid 5.
Yeah,
I'd say it's very, very average, and 6 is above average for Ray. Okay.
So it may be a C+ performance for Ray. We don't know yet, but we do know that we're going to start with our cold open like we always do. Not as cold as previous cold opens. It's not snowing anymore.
No snow.
It's melting.
It's spring.
The blizzard has passed.
We're really keeping on track with our real world
of the weather
with these, which is impressive.
We and Ray are moving through the seasons at the same time.
Look at us.
I feel more connected to him now than I ever did before. It's not snowing, but we are at Ray and Deborah's house. Ray and Deborah are in bed, and they're sleeping, and then we hear Ray yelp and fall out of the bed. Deborah's like, what's going on? He says, you kicked me. He says she kicked him right in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Which was funny.
What I think is very funny about this scene is that he is continually in pain for the duration of it. So Deborah takes the covers off, reveals that it's Allie in there who has slept in their bed every night. And then she says, Ray, is there anything I can do, as he's on the floor in pain? And he says, you can learn to love half a man, which...
Again, very funny.
I thought it was fun. Thought it was a classic.
Classic cold open. Anti-gravity opening, and then we cut to Ray and Deborah cleaning up the living room. There's toys everywhere. Deborah says something like, we should just make it a landfill or something. But she says, remind me again, why did we have the children? Ray says, 'cause I'm a sexy, sexy man. I thought this was going to be a cute scene.
Was not.
They start throwing toys at each other, which can be it's kind of fun. It's kind of cute.
Playfully, and then they get too into it, and it's thank God they're soft toys. He's not chucking a Tonka truck at her head, but but then Allie, we see that Allie is standing on the stairs, and she tells Ray that he shouldn't throw toys. They ask her why she's still awake. And she wants to sleep in their bedroom. I like Ray's line of, you have a beautiful Swedish bed that took Daddy 3 days to put together.
I love that IKEA is still a thing back in the 90s. I didn't, but that's great.
Yeah,
that was very funny.
I feel like IKEA jokes are more prominent in the 2000s, which I don't know why that is. I know IKEA has been around in Sweden from the 50s, but
oh wow, I guess they kind of just fell out of vogue to make jokes about.
Yeah, but yeah, it seemed unique to have an IKEA joke in the 90s. But yeah, she asks to sleep in their bedroom, and she says that she's afraid of monsters in her room, and Deborah kind of caves immediately and says, okay, you can sleep in our room. She goes upstairs, and Ray's like, what are we going to do about this? What do the parenting books say?
Deborah has a line that says, they all say very different things, and it's all very confusing. Yeah. And I will say, I feel weird weighing in too much here because I know absolutely jack shit about parenting, especially young kids and this kind of thing. Yeah. Obviously, a period of wanting to sleep with the parents, I think that's pretty normal, but I also understand the instinct of it can't last forever. It can't last significantly. So I don't know who's in the right. I don't know who's in the wrong. Maybe Ray's instinct to kick her out and get her to be independent is good. Maybe the coddling is better. Who knows?
Yeah, we are not children as far...
You want to try that again?
No, I want to stand by that statement. We are not children, and as such, we don't have children. So we can't... Although I think, Mike, you're waiting on some tests, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't need
age tests.
Did you pee on the stick yet?
AIDS test?
Age tests.
Oh, to find out if you're a child.
I need to find. I don't know how old I am. Yeah, exactly. I need to find out if I'm legal yet.
But yeah, we're not parents, so I'm not gonna speak at all to the what Ray and Deborah should do in this. I think for me, it's more about how they conduct themselves with each other that we're probably going to talk more about.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, it's not like we judge him as a husband and father.
No, we are. This is a Christian podcast. We don't judge at all.
We turn the other cheek, famously. So yeah, I mean, there's stuff to talk about there, but we can't say what's right, certainly. But yeah, Ray asks what the parenting books say, and Deborah says that, they say different things. They're very confusing. Why don't you just read the damn books? And Ray, I liked Ray's line of, well, if they're too confusing for you...
He's got a point.
He's got a point. Deborah is the brains of the relationship. I like that he acknowledges it. I feel like it goes against this sort of sitcom trope husband who thinks he's always right. I kind of like that Ray is sort of the... I don't want to say beta male because that connotes a weird energy, but like he is
a bit different. Yeah,
he knows his place in the relation. He knows his strengths, I should say. He knows what he does well, and he knows what Deborah does well, and he's perfectly happy letting Deborah do the finances, letting Deborah do the parenting books. Like, I think that is nice to see, and I think that runs counter to the typical like. Al Bundy, like, I'm the man, and what I say goes.
Right, but we do know that he is he like, he says that about himself mainly just to avoid reading.
Oh yeah, that's also true. It's a cover for his laziness, absolutely. Ray says that he can't go to work like this, like Allie keeping them up every night. And Deborah says, "What about me?" And Ray almost says, "What? You don't have to," and stops himself from saying that Deborah doesn't work, and immediately backpedals on that.
I'm going to be honest. I thought this was this is a funny moment.
I'm glad he caught himself.
The immediate I can see the shoe entering my mouth as I'm speaking. I gotta reverse course. I thought that was a very funny bit.
Yeah. Well acted, actually. Very, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
A good end to that scene, too. I think Deborah might go upstairs or something. But anyway, we cut to the Barone house, Marie and Frank's house. Robert's in the kitchen. Marie's in the kitchen. Or Marie comes into the kitchen. No, Marie's in the kitchen. She calls for Frank through the kitchen door to come get his eggs before they're cold.
It's been half an hour.
Yeah. And Marie is like, if he thinks I'm going to heat those eggs up for him, he's got another thing coming. And Robert is like hyping her up. He's like, yeah, you tell him, Ma.
Well, he's also very disinterested. I think he just knows the routine at this point.
Yeah, that is definitely.
Also, can I point out details?
Yeah.
The bullshit details.
The thing I thought of was the newspaper, but I'm curious whether the eggs moved across the table where they were.
No, I'm also thinking about the newspaper. Mm-hmm. I was trying to. Every time the newspaper comes up, I try to see like if I can pinpoint a date that the newspaper is from. I was not able to do that. I didn't get a clear enough shot of it. But we did see a behind the back shot. And I was like, oh, I wonder what Robert is reading. He's reading very intensely throughout the scene. Adam, I think that you might have paid attention. Alex, did you notice what he was reading?
Mike, I don't pay attention to this show.
He was reading, not like an article or anything. He had the pages open to the TV guide. And he was just very intently reading the TV guide.
Channel.
Yeah.
That feels like an intentional choice.
I was just kind of thinking of just like, he is so into this. How do you? You're right.
Would not be surprised if Robert memorizes the TV guide for the day.
That might be part of his move. Maybe that's part of because we know he has to read the entire newspaper twice. After tapping his chin with the paper 12 times. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe that's why it takes him so long. He's got to read it. Yeah. Read every single channel. Start to from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Vice versa.
That's what I was looking to see, or I registered. I didn't actively look for it, but we established in the previous episode, the one before that, he reads the newspaper twice and taps his chin with it between readings. I don't think we had a shot of him doing that, but
we don't see him finish the paper.
Yeah, so we have to assume his routine was interrupted there. But it occurred. It's something I'm going to pay attention to every time Robert is reading a newspaper, which I have to imagine happens every episode from here on.
Pretty close to it.
Okay.
Pretty close to it.
He loves it. He's a regular Mort Saul.
Reference.
Ray. Yeah, so Robert is hyping her up kind of passively. And then Ray comes in. He's complaining about his back is being sore. He says, he doesn't want to get kicked again in the bed. And Marie says, a married couple should never go to bed angry, which is a fine joke about her thinking that Deborah kicked him. And then Robert's tag on that of not a hard and fast rule in this house.
Very good.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good one too.
And then Ray explains the situation. Frank comes in and he sits down. He's got his cold plate of eggs. And he just starts eating them.
I love this bit so much.
He's like, they're fine. They're great. And then Marie is so frustrated at his obstinance or whatever this is, or like his the fact that he's eating his eggs cold and not doing anything about it, just grabs them and heats them up without being asked.
Hilarious.
She's so infuriated with him about it, and he is so smug. Like he knew that was his plan from the beginning. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because I felt like the way he was acting that scene, like I could have gotten the sense that Frank truly doesn't care. And that's baffling to Marie.
I think he would have eaten them all, but I also think that, I think he would have eaten them cold, but I also think that he knew, she's going to heat him up even no matter what. And, yeah, he won the interaction. There's no question about it. But yeah.
Speaking of heating and eating, or eating and heating,
Ayo.
Ray asks Marie if she still has that heating pad, and Robert's like, you don't need that. He says, I'll crack your back. He gets up and just grabs Ray full body, like wrestling move style, and starts lifting him up. And I was uncomfortable because I, like Marie, did not want Robert to sever Ray's spine. And the thought of your spine being manhandled like that made me squirm a little bit.
I'm also not a fan, because this is something that people will do to each other, just oh yeah, I'll crack your back, put your there are people that will swear by it and claim it's very relaxing. It is not something I've ever enjoyed.
Nope, not a fan. No. I'm right there with you guys.
It seems, I don't know if it's possible. I've seen it in movies, when Jason Statham breaks somebody's neck. I feel like that might happen to me if I go to the chiropractor or something.
I don't know if it's to that extreme.
I feel like I'm gonna get assassinated if I go to the chiropractor. And he comes up behind me and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna crack your back now," and then just snaps my neck.
The FBI hitman for Adam Rudy has been waiting at a chiropractor's office for decades now. Just like, he's got to come in one of these days. It's gonna happen.
Why do you think the FBI is like you? I'm on their side. I'm
friend of the police.
I'm on our side, I should say.
Adam, you just gotta tap out, man.
Okay.
Adam's canceled, everybody.
I'm not a friend of the police. Marie intervenes. She's getting all up in their business. Marie is trying to stop Robert from cracking Ray's back. She's slapping at him. You'll sever his spine. And then Robert lets Ray go. How do you feel? Or something. Or is that better? And Ray says no. And he's like, okay, I'll go get the heating pad. And then Frank, as Robert leaves, Frank tells Ray that he looks awful. Ray explains the situation. Marie thinks that it's Deborah's cooking keeping Allie up with indigestion all night.
So funny to me. So funny that she finds just another way to bring up the fact that Deborah's not that good of a cook.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Such a classic Marie line. And Ray says, oh, no, it's fine. It's not Deborah's cooking, first of all, but, they have the books. They're going to figure this out. Marie and Frank are very dismissive of the parenting books. They never used any books. Their parents never used any books. Ray has a pretty funny line of, oh, good, I come from a long line of illiterates.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot you could have got done with that setup.
Mm-hmm. And then Robert comes back as they're talking about this and tells them, remembers fondly what Marie used to do when he had trouble sleeping. He says, you would give me a warm cup of that colored sugar water. It would put me right out. And Frank just deadpans, that was booze, which is absolutely in character for them, I feel like.
Yeah,
very.
Frank has the line, a stiff shot of Sambuca and it's lights out Bobby. And then Robert, aghast, you gave me liquor. Marie, not liquor, dear, liqueur. Very funny.
I just love this idea so much that Robert puts all of his faith and hope and is just utterly betrayed time in, time out.
Everything Robert thinks was good about his childhood is actually incredibly not good.
Another reason for him to talk to a therapist. Yeah.
Robert and Marie storm out arguing. Ray gets up from the table. He says, I'm going to go home and go to bed. And Frank tells him that Allie sleeping in the bed will affect the marriage. Very sort of obliquely referring to, in a way that's very, I feel like, chaste for this show. Basically saying you can't screw your wife if Allie's in the bed all the time.
That's actually a good point. It's typically a lot less subtle than that when they talk about good old sex.
Yeah. He says that he used to force Ray out of their bed. He used to say, Marie, take him back. He says, you can't coddle your children. Something to the effect of, because if you coddle them, you let them out and they come right back. On cue, Robert walks in. He's still arguing with Marie. And, arguing about different lies that she's told him. Remember the ice cream truck? You told me the music meant they were out of ice cream. Which is actually really funny.
Yeah, it's really
that
funny.
Might be my favorite line in the episode.
Really, really funny.
Because you can believe it.
I can.
So we cut to Ray and Deborah sleeping. The first of many Ray and Deborah sleeping scenes in this episode. Or the second, I should say. We hear Allie off screen calling for Ray. And Deborah tells Ray to go. They go back and forth. And Ray says he's trying the tough love plan. Deborah points out that the tough love plan and the daddy does nothing plan are very similar. Ray says that's what drew me to it initially, which I thought was a good line.
He said it very earnestly, too,
cute.
which I thought was funny.
Deborah turns the light on, back and forth. She gets up to go, and Ray tries to keep her to going so far as to grab her by the ankle as she's trying to get out of bed. She could have fallen face first into the nightstand, broke her skull open. No, he
doesn't
just has
matter.
This would become a very
doesn't
different
matter.
show.
You do what you gotta do. Allie can't be comforted right now. No.
Ray tries to, he's like, we got to do the tough love plan. Deborah's like, forget it. I'm going to go sleep in Allie's room. She takes her pillow and she goes. We cut to the next morning. Living room. Ray comes downstairs.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you skipped to the very endearing moment where Ray was like, oh, I can't sleep if I'm by myself.
Oh, yeah.
Just like,
and then we revisit that in the following scene. Allie and the twins are on the couch. Ray comes downstairs. They're in a ball of, they're in a great mood, full of energy. And then he goes into the kitchen, visibly tired, acting tired. Deborah says, don't even act tired, since she had to sleep in the Swedish rack. And Ray says, I didn't sleep either. As we saw in the previous scene, he claims that he can't sleep without Deborah. He's gotten used to her nose whistle. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that they go back and forth about that for a little bit. And, basically we can see nerves are frayed. People are tired. I think we can all relate to that. We've all been tired. Mike famously hasn't slept in 72 now?
72 hours, yeah.
Okay.
It's because he's doing the challenge.
Yeah, you're doing the Everybody Loves You have to, there's only 61 or so hours at this point, right?
Yeah, but then you restart and you listen to the first 10 again.
Yeah. This time doesn't count, by the way.
Best episodes of our show.
We got worse with time. Yeah, exactly.
But then we go into like a completely different discussion, but it's not totally separate because it's illustrating the dynamic that's going on here. But Ray takes a jar of juice out of the refrigerator and he says the cap didn't pop. In case you've never had a Snapple or something, like, or opened a jar. Do I need to explain that?
No,
I don't think it. I think the majority of people know what is happening here.
Some people we have listeners all over the world. Maybe they don't have jars.
Dude, who doesn't have a jar? All right, so here's the thing.
Judgment.
The seal was broken. It was like so he went to Deborah and was like, "Hey, did you sip from the soup from the juice?"
The soup.
And she said, "Shut up." And she said, and she goes, "No." And he says, "Well, the seal is broken, or it didn't pop." And basically, so he goes on a rant about how they have tainted juice in the house because Deborah didn't check before she put it in the thing. And Deborah, I thought this was a very funny back and forth.
Agreed.
And
yeah,
I thought the line at the end where Deborah was like, I had some already. He said, "Was it popped when you opened?" And she says, "I don't remember." And he looks at the jar, the juice very earnestly and says, "I'll wait and see what happens to you." I thought that was a great line.
Yeah.
Ray is more upset that the juice is loose than Ray is more upset that the juice is loose than Marcia Clark.
We'll keep that one in.
Put it on. Yeah, clip it. That's it.
That's my joke.
We did it, guys. Comedy's over.
Did you notice that I didn't say anything for a while because I was making sure that I was going to get that name right?
And you sure did, Adam.
I didn't notice it, but now I'm going to every single time that I listen to this podcast again.
Right.
The next challenge.
Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
No, he says, "I'm not drinking that. I'll see what happens to you." Deborah says that, Ray needs to sleep in Allie's room tonight. Because she had to and she feels terrible. Ray says he can't. He's got a big day tomorrow, which I don't think we find out what it is. I think it might just be Ray lying.
Work. Yeah.
And Deborah says, "You know what, Ray? Tough love."
Really intentional.
She was going to say shit.
Yeah, she was going to say shit. which you cannot say or could not maybe you can like post Watershed say shit on CBS. I truly don't know because I do not watch CBS.
I would be surprised if that was allowed.
She said tough love instead of tough shit. That's the kind of joke that feels very C+.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we leave that scene. We cut to Allie's room.
Oh, this is another... Sorry. This is another continuity thing that bugged me.
The juice?
No, not the juice. Currently March, right? Or sometime very early spring. Sun is up. Sun is very up. Deborah says, I gotta take the kids to school. How late is it that the sun is already well in the air and you gotta take the kids to school? School starts at like 8 a.m. Why are you at the time when you're leaving? The sun's maybe rising. It's not all the way up at that point. It doesn't make sense.
May not have been daylight savings times yet.
Do you know for a fact, and you may, that Limbrook Elementary School opens at 8 a.m.?
I actually do know this for a fact. It opens at 9.
It opens at 9?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mike, I remember it from when I was a kid.
All right, I stand corrected.
Well, maybe this was a weird year for the sun. Maybe it was a, like Norwegian, like extended nighttime thing happening in Limbrook in 1998. We would have to go look at the weather, but we just don't have time to do that right now. So you might be right, Mike. This is me trying to make him feel better.
Thank you. That's very kind.
So we cut to Allie's room. I love the way that this scene is shot. Ray is saying goodnight to Allie. He's being very nice and fatherly. And then he gets up, crosses over to the door. Camera moves with him and reveals Marie standing in like
Hilarious.
her coat, just standing there at the door. Ray's plan is to prove to Deborah that Allie doesn't need anyone to sleep with her by having Marie in there without Deborah's knowledge sleeping with her.
This is clearly not a long-term solution, nor is it a good solution. But I mean, hey, this actually seemed a little bit out of character for Raymond for me, if I'm being completely honest with you.
Why?
Because most of the other episodes, we see him actually he doesn't do it well, but he seems to actually be somewhat aware that, it's kind of him trying to ride the boundary between Deborah wanting Marie out and Marie desperately wanting in. This is I'm not going to say this is the first time, but it seemed like that's been the main conflict from most of the episodes. Him actively inviting Marie in seems like a step that's a little bit, I don't know, it's a little bit different than most of the other conflicts. It's not a I gotta do this to make my mother feel better. It's a mom, fix it for me, and that's a different kind of vibe.
But also, Mike, you got to remember that at this point, Ray's exhausted.
Yeah,
and
the sleep deprivation.
He's gonna do anything for a good sleep.
I think that's a good point, though, and it seems weird that he invited his mother, who he knows to be invasive and meddling, into his house to be involved in this plot that he's trying to dupe his wife with. So I wouldn't say it's out of character. I would say it seems like a progression in his character towards eventually, staircasing his wife.
I don't know what that is in reference to, actually. I don't know the episode you're referring to.
I don't think he actually does staircase Deborah.
Does he try to murder Deborah at some point in the show?
Yeah, I think this is the step towards a progression. If the show were to continue, I feel like we would see Ray kill his wife.
Yeah.
Go to jail.
That's a hot take for you.
Yeah, gritty reboot.
And I live here in prison.
My mother has the cell next to me. That's right.
And my brother is her cellmate.
Now, some people have poor treatment in prison, but not me, because
everybody all the prisoners clanging their little tin cups against them. Everybody loves Raymond. Gritty reboot of Raymond where they all go to prison.
That's what I'd like to see more than Allie's kids. I'll be real.
Not to make light of the carceral system. I'm playing Schneider's advocate here.
Yeah, I just want to make a hard turn for the reboot of Everybody Loves Raymond. Everybody's tuning in expecting that, and I just want Orange is the New Black, but Raymond.
So Marie is in Allie's bedroom. Ray's plan is to show Deborah Allie doesn't need us to sleep with her, while actually having Marie in the bedroom sleeping with her. Marie is like, all right, great plan, and then is about to leave. Ray says, where are you going? She says she's going to the bathroom. Ray initially doesn't want her to, but breaks down, lets her go, which is the right thing to do, of course. And then he says no humming. I went back and rewound to see if this is a thing that is established earlier in the episode. It's not, right?
No.
It's purely invented in this moment that Marie hums while going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So we cut to from there, Ray in Deborah's bedroom, and Ray comes in. He's getting in bed. Deborah thought that he was going to spend the night in Allie's room, and he says that he told her that she can come in if she needs to, but he thinks that his talk did the trick. They turn the light off and go to sleep, and nice little beat with them sleeping, and then Deborah says, Ray, do you hear humming? Ray's sitting up in bed being like, that's the pipes, that's outside, you know what, I don't hear anything, is a pretty funny reaction to that. The detail of Marie humming in the bathroom seems to have been purely invented for this one line, this one moment, which I hope and pray that it continues through the show. I don't know if it will.
It won't.
I doubt it will. It seems like a very specific trait to introduce for this one joke.
It was a fun joke, but it wasn't.
It was a fun joke. It was just confusing because I was like, "Are we supposed to know that Marie is just humming away in the bathroom all the time?" Because I didn't remember that from any previous episode. At any rate, Deborah gets up. She thinks it might be Allie, and this is when Ray calms her down or tries to calm her down. He says, "Oh, I sang to her. I read to her. Sang Frere Jacques." And she drifted off to sleep. But Deborah, anyway, starts to get up to, go say goodnight to Allie because she was so worn out that she forgot to or something. I did not write that down in detail. But Ray convinces her not to. So we cut to later that night, same room, bedroom. They're sleeping. A knock at the door. Ray immediately thinks it's Marie. So starts covering by saying it's Allie, and he says, go back to sleep. And then Frank just bursts in. Where's Marie?
Hilarious.
He got back from the lodge, and he can't find her. Where's Marie? Allie runs in at that point and is screaming about Grandma turning into a monster. Marie comes in with cold cream on her face, looking fairly ghostly. I don't know, monster.
Probably some skincare routine.
For a kid that was already nervous about monsters, I can get it.
She's also, to be fair, she's wearing like a black cloak, like the Grim Reaper.
That's true too.
Yeah,
she's not helping. But Frank, seeing Marie, says, "Why are you sleeping over here tonight?" And everyone turns and looks at Ray. Like, they all immediately, figure out that it's Ray. And Ray starts to lie. He's like, no, yes. He admits almost immediately. He's just so done. Yeah.
I just love everybody turns to him. He's just like, we're waiting. I just love that. Playing. That was a great, playing dumb moment. Yeah.
It was I couldn't imagine him getting out of that.
Yeah,
no, he couldn't.
I don't know how he could have talked his way out of that. Especially sleep deprived. I imagine he just was so exhausted in that moment he just gave up.
I got this.
Frank and Marie start like yelling at each other that she wasn't there. She says she left a note on her pillow that she was going to sleep over there tonight, and then it culminates in Frank very sweetly but also screaming at the top of his lungs saying that he can't sleep without Marie, much in the same way that Ray can't sleep without Deborah.
Which is cute.
Yeah, it's sweet. They leave. Deborah tells Allie to go to her room so that she can talk to Ray. And then Ray, in a move that continues into the hot clothes, Ray says, "Oh, she doesn't have to go. She's scared."
Using her as a human
Using her as a shield. And then the twins conveniently walk in at that moment and jump on the bed.
The only time we see them this episode.
No, they were on the couch in the living room.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, doing the exact same thing that they do in this scene.
Yeah.
Great day for them.
Yeah.
Good
They just get up
day.
and they jump on the bed.
And then that's there. So kids in the bed, Ray's like, yeah, plenty of good seats still available. Come in. Just using his children to distract his wife from his duplicity. And then we go to our hot clothes, which is literally just,
more of
this
Michael
scene,
and Jeffrey jumping on the bed. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's this scene continuing for another 30 seconds and General Ruckus and then Ray saying the title of the episode, the family bed.
And that's it.
And that's it. So
I was kind of, you make fun of it. I was kind of okay with that as the hot clothes. Not because it was like I get your complaint, but it was cute. It was a cute moment, and I'm glad they kept it going.
But it didn't add to the plot in any way.
No, but what else would you have them do?
I would like Ray to learn a lesson.
What kind of show are you watching? Come on.
My hot clothes is, you know what? A nice way to do it would be, we saw all the ruckus of them, jumping around. Let's just do 30 seconds. The room is dark. The entire family's sleeping in the bed. That's easy.
That's too sweet.
That could have been
That's
cute.
too sweet.
Oh, with the music over it, that would be nice.
I would have liked it if... Actually, now I'm thinking about it. I would have loved it if we pan over, all the kids are asleep, Deborah's asleep, and Raymond's up, terrified of what Deborah's going to do to him when she wakes up. That could have actually been a fun little bit.
Kids are like laying in between them, and Deborah is staring daggers at Ray, who's pretending to be asleep, and like we see him like peeking. I think that could be. We are really good at this.
Yeah.
So
let's reboot Raymond.
Yeah.
Let's restart this podcast.
So Ray's in his prison cell and he's peeking. But yeah, that's the episode. I mean, it's a short, like not a lot happens in this. It takes place over one night, as far as I can tell, 1 or 2 nights.
2 nights.
Yeah, something like that.
And pretty much just revolves around sleeping. But that's the episode. And so we should turn to our classic barometer.
Yes.
We are working hard. We've booted up the Lenovo, or we boot up the Lenovo after this. We write our research paper for Limbrook University.
Our professors would be proud.
Our advisors and our dissertation supervisors, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, who are funding. I'm sorry, the Will and Melinda Gates Foundation, no relation.
No relation.
Foundation, no relation.
Will and Belinda.
Yeah, the Will and Belinda. The Will and Belinda Bates Foundation, no relation, is funding this, along with, of course, a generous grant from Limbrook University. We are gearing towards this big study, blockbuster study, what Raymond means for masculinity. Baby, is this real? So it's a scale from 1 to 10 on which we rate Ray's performance as a husband, brother, son, father, sleeper, etc. And 1 is the bad men of television history, your Walter Whites and Don Drapers, men who actively harm their families. And 10 is the great sitcom dads, Uncle Phil, Danny Tanner, Carl Winslow. Mike, give me another one. Alex, give me another one.
Mike.
Thank you.
That sounded like a fake laugh, but it was me processing each implication of that joke.
Let me know what you find there. I just said what I, without thinking.
Gomez Adams.
Oh, that's a great one.
Gomez Adams.
Yeah,
definitely
you're right,
a good husband. I don't know if is he a good father?
I mean he does let his children torture each other, so
but
maybe
they like
not.
But it's what they want.
But true.
But that is a guy who, if you sold "It's Good to Screw Your Wife" T-shirts, that guy's buying one. 5. One for every work day.
Yeah. Buy him for his kids.
Anyway,
you're absolutely right.
Anyway, Alex, where's Ray coming in for you on this episode?
He's not great.
Do you need to go back to sleep? Do we need to have the elves bring you back?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
He I feel like Ray was pretty freaking selfish in this episode. He took the advice from his parents that would be most convenient for him. I mean, like the idea of like, oh, like tough love, you can't come in here. And obviously, like he said in the actual episode, the initial factor is like, oh, you do nothing and your kid learns a lesson. Yeah, everyone wins. And like we mentioned, we don't know the correct answer here for this kind of problem. And I don't know what I would do in this situation. Probably cry. But as for kind of how he responded to it, he was just a whiny little baby the entire time until, no, he didn't, no one won. Maybe the kids. Yeah. He didn't help the situation. He just kind of dragged it all out without actually looking for solutions. Bad Ray. Bad job. 4.5.
Ooh.
That's way higher than I thought you were going. All right.
It's still...
I mean, he didn't, do anything bad at a funeral or anything like that.
Or what did we just do that was his all-time low? I truly don't remember.
There was one where he was atrocious.
No, it was like 1 point something.
Yeah, there was 1 point something. Yeah,
the checkbook.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
he
was
nowhere
he destroyed
near
his family's
financial
finances.
fraud.
He was nowhere near that, and I did give him a little bit of a break because I know what it's like to be sleep deprived. I make horrible decisions when I don't sleep.
Yeah,
so I kind of get it.
You can't judge him too harshly from the point where he is sleep deprived. Mike, how are you judging him though?
I'm giving him a 4. I'll keep it short and sweet. Lied to his parents. I did appreciate the act of espionage that he committed when bringing Marie into the house. But all in all, yeah, bad move. Mostly towards the end there. I do understand the instinct to make his kid fall asleep on their own, though. I'm not gonna fault him for that. So yeah, I'm gonna give him a 4 because shitty dude, shitty move. But yeah, 4.
I'm feeling in that neighborhood as well. I think I might go 4.5 because I don't blame him for being sleep deprived. I think he could have not tried to fool his wife into thinking he's parenting their daughter, looping Marie into it. But he's also, he's fairly passive throughout the episode besides that. Absolutely nothing happens and nothing changes in this episode, really, except for the Marie being in the bedroom plot. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to really give him on this, but just the fact that I feel like he was sleep deprived, but took it out on Deborah a little bit and tried to avoid the problem. So I'm gonna give him a 4.5.
All right. Well, that comes out to a total barometer for this episode of a 4.3. That's our average for Ray this episode.
Feels right.
That feels right to me. Speaking of this episode, it's over. So you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Barone Zone. You can email us. You can email us at raymond@postfun.org. The Baroness Zonus, which is an extra episode every month. is at postfund.org/donate. Pay what you want. Hey, you know what would really help us out is if you went to the podcast player of your choice, left us a review, particularly a positive one. Here's what we're willing to do to incentivize you is if you leave us a 5-star review, obviously we'll read it on the air. Every show does that. But we wanted to go the extra mile. Like we're known for doing. We're known for doing sort of like publicity stunts and that sort of thing. So if you leave us a 5-star review, we will give one person a free t-shirt.
I just want to add, in the pilot episode of this series, our tagline was not giving any effort, minimal effort. And now we're giving away a free t-shirt. We've come a long way, guys.
Character development.
We have come a long way. So if you leave us a 5-star review, anyone who leaves us a 5-star review will have a chance to win the t-shirt. Alex, do you think this could be like a custom one-off t-shirt?
Yeah,
special for this person? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. You will get a one-of-a-kind t-shirt. I love how this keeps ramping up as we're figuring this out.
Yeah.
You'll get a one-of-a-kind Mercedes-Benz. No, you'll get a one-of-a-kind t-shirt. We'll put your name on it. You will never wear it because it will be ridiculous.
Super fan on the back. I won this t-shirt in a contest.
You know,
there's so many ideas we can do.
If you're the winner,
the worst episode of Everybody Loves Raymond beats the best day of court-ordered anger management lessons. Perfect, just like that.
You know, if you're the winner, we will give you the choice. If you want that on a t-shirt, we'll make it and send it to you, but we maybe you just want it on a sticker or something that you don't have to show to the world.
We'll give a randomly selected person who leaves a 5-star review on our podcast a piece of merch of their choice.
That is an incredibly succinct way to do that, Mike, that I clearly am just physically incapable.
Yeah, Adam,
of doing.
You spent 7 minutes saying what Mike just said in 10 seconds. What's wrong with you, man?
I don't know. I just can't. I can't.
This is why this show is 2.5 hours long.
Yeah, I can't.
This is why there's already a 96-hour challenge of this show. We're on season 2, boys.
And we're not even through season 2. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's the challenge. Thank you, Mike. Until then, I think there's only one last thing to say, isn't there, Mike?
Sure is, and that is our classic sign-off. Everybody
loves Raymond, and we love you.